In 2002, there was a lot of rapes going on until basically I confronted Jamal and over some sexual assault that was committed that wasn't reported. And after I chased him out the apartments, um, it was clear to a lot of the scum, a lot of the weaker guys who rape women, that certain factions of the Crips are going to come after rapists. So the following year, I believe it was 2003, as I was moving out of the apartments on the south side, and there was a drop in the instances of rape by about 100. And a majority of that were gang members, who knew that it was going to be that ass. They were keeping their ears to the street and whatnot, observing what's going on, and they knew they didn't want to be played out like that. And so that was, very interesting to notice. And so there's a lot of things that are going down. And also, it's important to notice that places like Watsonville have a lot of assaults, but they don't necessarily have a lot of murders. And usually when they murder people, they try to go to other small towns like Santa Cruz. And Salinas has a huge problem with northerners and southerners fighting each other. And their murder rate is about as high as San Jose, even though their city's a fraction of the size. And it has to do with the politics and the proximity, and really the northerner Surenos trying to make a name for themselves. Basically, in Morgan Hill, there wasn't too many murders and homicides, nor was there Milpitas. But Morgan Hill, I want to touch on this, and I'm going to leave it alone. In about 1998, a norteno was killed, and there was a lot of skirmishes between that point there, some stabbings. And we get up to about 2000, I believe it was 2005, in front of a Safeway, where this is but the year before I make my YouTube series, a norteno was killed. And then you go on to about, I believe it was 2009, is the next incident. There's a mistake in here, and it was Green Eyes in October at the Crest Apartments by Galvin Park. And then you had, he was the one killed. And then you had the shooting with about 5 guys, that Diaz guy and Primitivo Hernandez, and Esmelina, Bahina, whatever the fuck his name is, and, the other guys, a couple kids and, one older guy, whatever, the guy in his 20s, not really older, but anyway. And then you had a lot of people beat up, during that time period of Green Eyes shootings. You had that deaf mute beat up the kid at the bus stop. There was a lot of skirmishes again during that time period. And you also had the guy from Gilroy who stabbed it in front of Safeway. It was symbolic of where these guys are looking is where their information is telling them to look. And so we go on to, there's a shooting at Jack in the Box. I believe that happened in, nothing really happened in 2010, small skirmishes, random stuff. 2011, there was the shooting at Jack in the Box, I believe it was. And in that shooting, there was, I was actually, well, let's just say I know somebody who was in that vicinity when it happened. And basically, the story the news says is that there was shots fired and didn't hit anybody. He was on Monterey, and so that happens. And then not too long ago, you had that girl beat up and was robbed for her car by probably a gang member. Seemed to be headed toward Gilroy through the back roads in Morgan Hill. And then you have, that's about it, right? Talk about Izzy. Talk about the 5 guys in the village who shot that one girl and killed, and wounded a bunch of 3 or 4 other people. So they had that in 2011 as well. So it's obvious that in Morgan Hill, as far as the body count and as far as on-record assaults, on record, the Surenos are winning the war. As far as off-record assaults, it may be slightly more even. And when you consider the collateral damage in other towns like Gilroy, it's quite interesting how it breaks down. In some cases, the nortenos are giving the surenos their space because they're shooting a lot. And I can't really touch on it any more than that, but I can say this. I'm responsible for bringing down the sexual assaults in San Jose by over 100 females on record. And I'm also responsible for rounding up the remnants of, the Crips and really trying to push them to the right thing, head them in the right direction before the New World Order waits till they kind of gather together, then crack down and scoop them all out. It's kind of like fishing or something, for salmon or something. You're trying to get as many as you can with the net and bring it up, and they're trying to draw the net around them, and the net's already there. They're just all gathering on top of it. So that's that. That's really the timeline of the events at Morgan Hill. There's a lot of events in Gilroy, shootings, robbings. I'm not going to touch on that. But of these cities that go south of San Jose, Salinas is really one of the worst ones. Watsonville is pretty bad, but it's mostly you get stabbed and beat there more than shot. In Salinas, you get shot a little more often. And there's a lot of wannabes, and there's some real OGs in the mix as well. And there's some in-between motherfuckers, and some middle-aged, hardened gangbangers, some gangbangers in their 20, pretty tough. There's wannabe, youngsters, 13, 14 years old with straps as well. I wouldn't suggest confronting these guys unless you have a coordinated attacking plan. And I can't really assist law enforcement in cracking down on these people, but I can, tell you what I believe in the news to be true. And that's not really snitching or anything like that. Thank you.